All right, everyone. We start off today talking about the legacy media's coverage of the SNAP benefit part of the Big Beautiful Bill. Link in the description, archived, of course. This is nonsensical. Worrying about this makes absolutely no sense. The idea that your local grocery store is going to go out of business because SNAP benefits were limited in certain cases is completely asinine. I would note this article, which comes from a left-wing perspective, you can imagine, says, well, they already operate on just the razor's edge of profitability. So if they lose their SNAP benefit buyers, then they're going to go out of business. Oh, okay. Can I ask a question? It's completely rhetorical. Most of you will probably upfront know the answer. Why are they operating on a razor's edge budget? Is it because of A, government, or B, government? The answer is the same. It doesn't matter. Government regulation is what causes these grocery stores to have to operate on that kind of budget in the first place. So reducing the impact on taxation for businesses, especially, which is hilarious irony, in order to change the SNAP program makes sense. Now, I was on food stamps once. Long, long ago, I was very, very poor, like scrounging butts off of the asphalt outside of, Dollar General poor. One step from homeless poor. I've been there. I know that. The SNAP program is a good thing. It also brings dividend. It's one of the few government programs that actually is moderately successful. That being said, kicking people who are legally in the country off of SNAP makes sense. If people are not willing to at least attempt to find work, they already haven't been able to get SNAP. This has been a long-standing policy. It was liberaled up for a while there, but try reapplying and see what happens. You have to at least show evidence that you've been attempting to find a job. Now, the requirement is that you need to actually have a job. I realize that there are some people that are going to fall through the cracks on this. All of the rest of society, meanwhile, does not need to prop every single person up. Ultimately, in the end, after a period of, needing to rely on that in part, I got humiliated and tired of it. I didn't want to be on food stamps. I wanted to make my own way. I wanted to do it myself. Not everyone has this mentality, though. And so you've got some people that simply freeload off of the system, and that's just the way that it is. I have sympathy for people, especially those suffering from mental health issues, who can't make ends meet. I have sympathy for them. I don't believe in this weird, twisted, and arguably evil argument that people are poor by their own design. In some cases, somebody has simply fallen through. The system has completely failed them. We need to bring back asylums and shit like that. That would clear up half the problem right there. And we need to clear up our border crisis. But worrying about local grocery stores closing down because the people who come in and pay with food stamps can't use food stamps anymore. It's a ludicrous argument. That's not going to happen. There will be a handful of scattered instances where a local grocery store goes out of business because some SNAP beneficiaries no longer have SNAP. What's going to happen? It's called a free market. Well, as free as we can get at the moment. Wish it were 10 times freer. What'll happen is that another business will just absorb the clientele. Another business will absorb it. And they're also worried about like, well, if people don't have the food stamps and they'll, turn tricks or sell drugs or something like that to get food. In some cases, they probably will. Maybe you shouldn't have overcooked the economy and overloaded people into it. That would make a little bit of sense. It was bad government policy under Bush-Obama and then under Biden, basically, that caused this problem. The system doesn't need to be overburdened. I want a country in which nobody needs SNAP. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a country in which you didn't need food stamps, or only very rarely? And that would be, I think, a lot better, in my opinion. You go into the grocery store and you whip out your food stamp card, basically, It is humiliating because people know what that card means. It means you're dirt fucking poor. It means that somehow you managed to qualify for a program in which you have to be pretty impoverished in order to actually take advantage of. There are people who can't get, SNAP benefits. Um, and yet they're not able to make ends meet. They can't even pay their rent and shit like that. Someone living in a fucking car or something like that. It's a ludicrous situation. What we should be doing is rewarding people that are at least making some attempt to be productive, to work and so forth. Subsidizing them. That's fine with me. If my tax money is going to feed someone domestically, I would much rather it go to that than to bomb somebody in another country. So that I have no problem with. And again, I am no hypocrite. I've been on SNAP before. I know what it's like. There's that other food program, WIC, actually. As a child, my mom was on WIC. And so we would get deliveries of various food. That's another one that I happen to support. Why don't we feed people instead of bombing them would be my question on that one. So I have no particular shame in having taken it. I've paid far more back into the system than I ever took out of it, especially since I'm self-employed and get penalized for doing so. But at the same time, reforming the program so that people can't simply endlessly leech off the system without any effort makes sense. It's one thing if a person is like disabled, all right, so they can't really work, or only in certain kinds of jobs, and they don't make a lot of money, and so they need food. Everyone has to eat. Okay, I'd rather give them a few bucks than give those bucks to buy a bullet, to use to brain somebody. Just saying. So I have sympathy and empathy on this particular topic, but when liberals are pretending to worry about the local grocery stores, the only local grocery store you give a shit about is the co-op, liberal. You don't give a shit about the ma and pa store down there. It might have gotten sued for not making the gay wedding cake or something like that. You're only pretending. You're not going there anyway, and you're buying all your shit from NPR online or maybe on Walmart or something like that, or at the co-op. Liberals are simply pretending. SNAP benefits are not being reduced for the average person receiving them. We're saying that illegals shouldn't be getting them. Certain legal immigrants shouldn't be getting them if they're not paying into the system. And people that aren't paying into the system in general shouldn't be getting them either because they're not making any effort. If they're making an effort to pay into the system to get a job, literally speaking, or they're freelancing or whatever you want to do, I don't care if you suck dicks in an alley, you're still performing some sort of function that is productive. And therefore you should get SNAP benefits so that you can, buy a sandwich. I would note that the amount of money per day that the average SNAP recipient gets is about $6. What the fuck does $6 buy you these days? Every other day you can get a jar of pickles, basically. Due to Bidenomics and Bidenflation, we've got real big problems because I can imagine if it sucked being on Snap back in the 2000s, it must suck 10 times goddamn worse now. Just saying. That's about all. Peace out.